The beautiful music of Dorothy, and I couldn't agree with her more. The sound, the songs, the lyrics still relevant today as much as it was in days of old. But let's talk about issues affecting one legend to another. I was chatting to Mlangeni not too long ago. She's, of course, the veteran actress who is still making TV hits one after the other. And what we had discussed during our conversation was the lack of economic transformation in the television industry. We are seeing a lot of diversity on our television screens, black, white, Indian, colored, you name it, we're all there. But who owns the means of production? We're finding a lot of production houses being owned by up-and-coming young black South Africans. However, they're having to rent out studios from, shall we say, the old guard at exorbitant prices and fees. And there's a lot of monopolization and those huge companies that still get a lot of television production contracts. So perhaps it's a question that we need to look into, the means of production and the ownership thereof and economic transformation in the media industry. So, Peter, perhaps when you have time, that's one of the questions that can be posed to the Minister.
Okay. Ayanda, thank you very much indeed. We're still in Woodmead, still looking at arts and culture, and a number of questions have been asked. Let's see if we can get some answers for you. The first one is about audience development. And, South Africans often don't get a chance to see their own products because they haven't got a vehicle to see them. And so the question is audience development, distribution, exhibitions, that kind of thing. How do we get a different model set up in South Africa to enable South African films to be seen by South African audiences?
Well, the outcry has been there for some time. Right now, we are working with everybody, including exhibitors, to ensure that the local film are taken on board. But what we said to industries, especially artists, is that you are not going to solve this problem by yourselves. Let's get everybody, big and small, from your Ster-Kineko, New Metro, and everybody. Let everybody come together. And we agree that all of us, we are embarking on this path to ensure that the local content, because it's not only the local content, it's also about the local actors. You see, for Mandela, for instance, as an example, there are 9 films which have been, or movies which have been filmed about the life of Madiba. And all of them have foreign actors. We are going to be launching another one now in the first quarter of 2016, Mandela's Gun, when he was trained as a guerrilla from Konto Esizwe in Algeria and Ethiopia. It's the first of its kind where you are having local actors acting for Mandela. Now, this then says that there is talent in South Africa. There are reasons for people to want to get others from, in other countries and so on. But we are changing that, and we've got to change it. And this process, the importance of this process is that it's not about this show, this TNA, and I'm talking to practitioners here. It is about when going out here, go and make your contribution so that when you finalize the white paper, your views are there. We may review this in the next 20 years from now. So it's important to get everything important here and be able to move forward.
All right. Again, I think the thing is about creating space. Recently, we saw a film come on air at the movie houses, and then it had a short run, and the movie houses cut that film and put another Hollywood film on. How do we make sure that these movies get a fair run? But on the other side of the coin, I have to look at the business guy and saying, look, he wants audiences, he wants people there. How do we balance these two interests?
Well, the business guy wants audiences and so on. But the business guy gets that audience in the movie, a local movie like Tell Me Sweet Something, which just running for a week made R1 million. Had a lot of audiences throughout the country. You know, this is one thing which has been used as a stumbling block, that no, but you see, your local movies do not attract audiences. They are not quality movies. Now, here is an example. And it's precisely because of what happened in this movie that the industry, all of it together, both the exhibitors, the actors, the producers, and so on, are mapping the way forward on how to work together and think about business, but think also globally, but also be able to act locally. Because there is local fulfillment which has to be.
Is this not an opportunity for you to have platforms as government, movie theatres, that will show local films?
You know, in the meeting we convened, almost everybody who matters in the film industry was there. And all sorts of ideas then came. Including what happens to our own film industry in South Africa. Somebody spoke about Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood. Actually, I said in that meeting, we need our Sollywood, you know, in South Africa. Because it's possible. It's possible, the position we find ourselves in, the size of the economy we are in. Nigeria, after debasing its GDP, overtook South Africa as number one biggest economy in the continent. And one of the things is the film industry together with the ICT. Now, you talk ICT, you talk MTN in Nigeria, and so on. So all these ideas are the ideas which are crystallizing, emanating from the consultation which we had, which is going to be talking to these very pertinent questions which people have been asking, but also to say to our people that we know that when it comes to films, if they have to choose, they rather choose an American movie to go and watch an American movie than a local movie. What that says is that our own film producers should produce quality things, but we must understand in South Africa that those big people out there in America and elsewhere have bugs, and they are able to advertise and market themselves. Our people don't have that capacity, but they do have quality. If we give ourselves an opportunity, we are going to grow as a big industry in the film.
Ntate, Babsy,
but just before, there was an issue about language.
Yes, integration.
Well, yes, it's about social integration and about language. Quickly, as we said, social cohesion cuts across a number of things. Economic justice, education, and so on and so forth. Language is important. I must admit that from the point of view of government, with our institution or our entities like PANSALP, who have not done what we're supposed to do. And that is going to change. But also to say to the public that it's the task of all of us. We send our kids to the former Model C schools. Yeah. So when I visit Peter at home, Peter tells me that, no, but the minister, don't talk to Temba in isiZulu. He doesn't understand isiZulu, you know. And you are not promoting your own languages in that way. That which our erstwhile colonizers failed to do, to obliterate our languages, we are actively participating in telling our kids that you are not smart if you know your language. You must only know English. Communicate only in English. It can't be right.
Okay. Babu Babsy, a question for you. There's a theme that's coming through on Twitter at the moment. Babazile Mthethwa says, when will we see black sculptors, poets, filmmakers supported with resources? I'm wondering, we've got Minister here, what are these resources that your artists in South Africa need?
Resources? I wonder. We are really short of resources, because we had places like the Doke House that has been run down. But at least because of this, of our minister, Mthethwa, all those places that were used by us then, they are going to be renewed, and then perhaps we'll be able to have these areas now utilized by various musicians around the country.
I know also that when you were at Athlone School in Cape Town, there wasn't a program of study for children with disabilities to study music and arts and culture. Has that changed?
No, it hasn't changed. It's still the same. What we know actually, it's self-taught. It was not in the syllabus of education. Then perhaps if it could be introduced, it could be better. Because firstly, I made it in a very difficult circumstances, and I inspired people like Steve Kagane and them. And now I'm aging. I don't see any of this youth coming up. I don't know which corner they're hiding. Perhaps the problem is they can't afford to record demos because because of financial constraints. And they only have money for umdende. I mean, so they can't afford that. So perhaps if with this LLP program, perhaps something can be done for these kids, as the minister said. We'll be able to help them through. Well, because this is a caring government, and as long as Minister Mthethwa could be here for the next, up until the year 2024, that will be great.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. And for you, if you're watching at home in particular, we're going to play some of the music that made Babsy Mlangeni famous. So let's play that song now, and we'll see you after this break.
White train.